We will do a quick round of introduction, starting with members of Senate present.
Chair, my name is Lele. Sorry.
Okay.
Chair, my name is Lele Gultumbesi, Senator for Samburu County, member of the committee.
Madulu, Senator Isiolo, member of the committee.
Yeah, good morning, Governor and your delegation. My name is Jones Maruma, Senator representing Taita Taveta, Vice Chair of this committee.
Through the chair, Chirargek Protich is my name, the Senator of the Republic of Kenya representing the great people of Nandi County.
Chair and the team from SIAYA, for the final time, my name is Edwin Sifuna, Senator Nairobi, and a member of this committee.
Thank you, Chair. Colleagues.
Okay. Senator Wambua, proceed.
I'm not sure about what the final time means. He will tell us later. So, Chair, Chair, colleagues, the delegation from Kisumu, my name is
Order. SIAYA.
Oh, SIAYA. I'm sorry. Enoch Wambua, Senator Kitui, a member of this committee.
And I'm Moses Otieno Kajwang, Senator from Homa Bay. I chair the committee. The clerk supporting us.
Good morning. My name is George Otieno, committee clerk.
Good morning, Chair and members. My name is Eric Njogu, clerk assistant.
Michelle Otoro, legal counsel. Shuman Hira, research officer.
Shalim Simbi, Hansard officer.
Brilliant Baraza, intern.
John Chege, sergeant at arms.
Yeah, that's all for today.
Karibuni, Office of the Auditor General.
Good morning, Chair and members. I'm Murike Patrick, the liaison officer. Chair of our team from Kisumu, who are responsible for the audit of SIAYA. With their permission, they'll come on record.
Thank you, Chair, and good morning, everyone. My name is Dennis Karaoke, Director of Audit. Thank you.
My name is Samuel Chege from the Office of the Auditor General, Deputy Director. Thank you, Chair.
That's all, Chairman, Chair.
Karibuni, I hope you didn't have to travel back after our meeting with Kisumu. Controller of Budget.
Good morning, Chair. My name is Joseph Wambua, representing Controller of Budget.
Karibu, ESCC.
Good morning, Chair and honorable members. Christine Mo from ESCC. Thank you.
Karibu, Christine, National Treasury.
Morning, Chair, honorable members, Excellency the Governor. I'm Dr. Jackson Dungo from the National Treasury. Thank you.
Karibu. I believe those are the stakeholders on our side, with the exception of the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Kenya. Let's find out whether the County Assembly of SIAYA is present.
Yes, Chair, the Assembly is present.
Okay, do we have the Chair or members of the Public Accounts Committee, SIAYA County Assembly?
Yes.
Okay, please go on record.
William Kinyani, Chair PAC.
Are you accompanied by any of your members or Secretariat?
Morning, Chair. My name is David Ragen, the Vice Chair PAC.
Good morning, Chair and honorable members. My name is Regina Koth, PAC Committee Clerk, SIAYA County Assembly.
Okay, that's it for the County Assembly, Mr. Chair. Okay, Governor SIAYA, please go on record.
Thank you, Chair and members of the committee. My name is James Orengo, Governor SIAYA, and I'll ask my colleagues to introduce themselves, beginning with Waziri.
Morning, Chair. My name is George Nyingiro, CC Finance and Economic Planning.
Good morning, Chair, honorable members, your Governor. My name is Elizabeth Adongo. I'm the Acting County Secretary of SIAYA. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair and honorable members. My name is Velma Maumo. I'm the County Attorney.
Good morning, Chair. My name is Jennifer Ogola, Director Internal Audit, SIAYA County.
Good morning, Chair, honorable members. My name is Cyrus Oguna, the Chief of Staff, County Government of SIAYA.
Chair, my name is Okanda Leonard, County Solicitor.
Good morning, Chair. My name is Christine Okoth, Director of Finance, SIAYA County.
Good morning, Chair. My name is Enoch Odhiambo, Head of Financial Reporting.
Morning, Chair. My name is Moses Okothkea, Director Revenue.
Morning, Chair, honorable members. My name is Engineer Collins Juma, Chair of the Public Service Board.
Good morning, Chair, honorable members. My name is Bernard Sierro, the Chairman Audit Committee.
Morning, Chair. Bethel Omondi, Accountant, Financial Reporting.
Morning, Chair. I'm Dr. Mondi Owino, Chief Officer, Health SIAYA.
Morning, Chair. Wilfred Nyagudi is my name, Secretary to the County Public Service Board of SIAYA.
Morning, Chair. Jekonaya Omondi, Head of Payroll Management, SIAYA County Government.
Good morning, Chair. My name is Lennox Omondi, Director Communications.
Good morning, Chair. Martin Okwata, Director Supply Chain Management.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Walter Okello, Chief Officer for Governance and Administration.
Morning, Chair. Architect Olot Jared, Director Public Works. Thank you.
I believe everyone has gone on record, with the exception of the media. So we'll proceed to the next order, which is administration of oath.
I, James Orengo, do solemnly swear that the evidence that I shall give before this committee in respect to the matters before the committee shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God.
You'll proceed to table your responses formally.
Mr. Chairman, sir, I hereby table the following documents before the committee. One, management responses and accompanying annexures on the status of implementation of recommendations of the committee on the report of the Auditor General on the audited financial statements for the county executive of SIAYA for the financial year 2024-2025. Two, management responses and accompanying annexures on the status of implementation of recommendations of the Committee on the Auditor General on the receiver of revenue statements for the County Executive of SIAYA for the financial year 2024-2025. And management responses and accompanying annexures on the status of implementation of recommendations of the Committee on the Auditor General on the County Revenue Fund for the County Executive of SIAYA for the financial year 2024-2025.
Auditor General, have you reviewed, because they were supposed to have been circulated to you 7 days in advance, and are you able to guide us?
Thank you, Chair. We confirm and we are ready to proceed.
Clerk of the Senate?
Yes, Chair, I do confirm that we received them within the timelines.
Was there any fine imposed on the governor as per our resolution of 31st of March?
No, Chair.
Okay, so that does not apply. Fine. So we could start by finding out from the County Assembly what they've done to this report, but Senator Cherargei first.
Maybe, Chair, the County Assembly can go. I have a preliminary objection.
Okay.
Okay.
Fine. The County Assembly Chair, could you let us know whether your committee has considered, debated, and made recommendations on the reports before us?
Yes, we did.
Okay. Maybe I'll just kindly ask you to stand, for you are in a bit of a blind spot. So when did the County Assembly of SIAYA adopt your reports?
24th of March, 2026.
They were adopted by the House?
Yes.
Auditor General, were you involved in the interrogation of these reports by the SIAYA County Assembly?
Yes, Chair, we were involved during the interrogation in February.
Chairman, are you able to provide us with the copies of the report as adopted by the House and evidence of adoption?
We gave a copy to the clerk.
Which did not have evidence of adoption. Do you have evidence of adoption? I believe the practice is similar. In Parliament here, you'll have a stamp indicating the date it was tabled, the date it was adopted. But in the absence of that, you could provide us with a Hansard.
We didn't provide the answer, but then given time, then we can do it.
Okay. So there's some work. Your submission is that you did the work, you brought the report to the House adopted your report.
Yes.
We'd be very happy to get a copy of your report, formally tabled, and as well as the adoption, the evidence of adoption. And once we get that, I think on behalf of the Senate, we'd like to commend the County Assembly of SIAYA for fulfilling its obligation as required by the Constitution. Primary oversight is done at the County Assembly level. The Senate does secondary oversight. And where a County Assembly has done some work on the reports of the Auditor General, I think the Senate steps in just to ensure that the recommendations are implemented without undue delay. So if you can get evidence of your report as adopted by the House, that can guide us. But that still does not stop the Senate from asking certain questions which are of interest to the public or which are still outstanding as per your report. So thank you, Mr. Chairman. And if you require time to provide that report, we'll give you time. Then we can refer to it when we're writing our recommendations.
Thank you.
But please pass our words of congratulations to your members of your assembly, particularly members of your committee.
Thank you.
Fine. Now let's deal with the report of the Auditor General, what we must do as a Senate. Senator Chirarke.
Chair, I hope you will bear with me because it might take some time. One, Governor, I went to the Hansard of SIAYA County Assembly. And from the letter I have, the contract that you have extended of Mr. George Odhiambo Nying'iro, who is your finance minister, ends tomorrow at 31st. You did extend 2 months. I've gone to the Hansard. There was a vetting and the report was tabled before the SIAYA County Assembly. Mr. Nying'iro, who is your current acting CC of Finance, did not meet the threshold, and the County Assembly of SIAYA recommended that he should not be appointed. On 2 bases. One is under section, I think 35(2) of the County Governments Act. He must meet a certain professional field to be a CC at that point. Number 2, he was acting while he was a substantive minister of roads, CCM roads. Then you appointed him acting as CCM finance. Subsequently, in that report, in the Hansard of SIAYA County Assembly, you have appointed somebody substantively as the CC of roads. And then you went ahead and appointed Nying'iro as acting CCM of finance. Yet, and you know you are a stickler of rule of law. The county approval process is that before you appoint somebody acting, he must meet the same standards of an appointment to any office, especially under the approval process. One, the interesting story is that under Section 35, you are not supposed to give somebody acting more than 6 months. And what is the story behind? Because the County Assembly of, through the chair, rejected the appointment in the vetting process after the report they tabled of Mr. Odhiambo Nying'iro as your finance CCM. It is his last day tomorrow. Why is the CCM of finance, who enjoys substantive under the PMF Act and has a lot of role, be acting for that long? And why Nying'iro, who does not meet the threshold of the County Governments Act of Section 35 and the approval process of the law? Chair, finally, because I've seen the letter, Governor, that you wrote on which was part of bundle of documents that is in the answer of the County Assembly that you wrote on 29 May of 2026, extending the contract from the previous contract when he was CM Roads. Now you had given him to Act Finance. What is the story behind it? Because it doesn't look neat and decent, yet it was possible to have somebody substantively in office. And why Mr. Nyingiru does not mean the threshold of the law? I yield back, Chair.
Okay, I don't want us to spend a lot of time on that matter because we'll need to ask ourselves whether it fits within the definition of a preliminary objection or whether it's a substantive matter or it's an extraneous matter. But I think to be fair to the Senator, maybe Governor, your response, and then we can give guidance on how we are proceeding.
One, the County Assembly has written to the Senate. A copy of that letter has been sent to me and the Speaker. I am waiting for the Senate to call upon me substantively, if they do, to respond to that letter from the Speaker. Because there's a substantive complaint that has been made by the County Assembly to the Senate. I accept the Senate to peruse the matter and require of me, because that letter did not require me to make any response, but if the Senate requires of me to make a response, I'll make a full response on all the questions raised. But ultimately, the question of illegality or otherwise is a judicial question. So it cannot be in the province of the County Assembly to draw conclusions which amount to a judicial determination. But I can assure the Senate that I can make a full response to this matter. And there's also the question of the County Assembly having called upon the person they accuse to appear before it. He has been summoned before the County Assembly many times to respond to questions, to present budgets. So by their conduct also, they are stopped from raising that question. But I plead that this is not the kind of question you can raise from the floor and expect a response when there's a substantive complaint.
So there's a substantive petition to the Senate on this matter?
By way of a letter.
By way of a letter?
Yes.
Chair, I think my raising of this objection is not in idle. You and me know the importance of CCM finance under the PMF Act and Section 35 on the roll. So my only concern, apart from which I am not aware, because maybe you should say which committee was referred to, I'm not aware, but looking at the answer, was my only concern, Chair, on several occasions. All people who have appeared, witnesses, all substantive officers. My only concern as DCM Finance is acting. And you know me, the difference between acting and substantively in office. Outside the legal jargon and the politics around it, because this is the first time we're having a CCM appearing before this committee in acting capacity, which we have never done before. Even a clerk of a county assembly, we have even set a precedent that if a clerk of county assembly, of course who is executive, appears and is acting, we rarely entertain that presentation.
Point of order,
so my only concern, can I?
Just point of order.
Okay, Senator Sifuna, if it's a point of order.
You said something that I don't think is accurate, Chair, that there has never been anyone appearing in acting capacity before this committee. It might be my last day on the committee, but I do recall on several occasions we have asked governors sitting there why certain people have been in acting position and for a long time. So in as far as that is concerned, Chair, I think that's inaccurate. And secondly, we have insisted that the person who bears primary responsibility when it comes to oversight is the governor himself. He's sat there and he's ready to, go through this process so that any other person in his team who might not, whose face Gerard Gay might not like, is really not relevant to the conversation, in my view. For as long as the governor is here and is able to answer questions regarding the utilization of public resources in SIAYA, I respectfully propose that we go to the substance before us, because you can see these documents are quite voluminous, Chair.
Chairman, so it was I know it was a point of order. Could you just close, because you had already made your...
Chairman, before we proceed, sir.
Yes.
You recall that it's on record that County Assembly of Nyamira appeared before your committee, and the person who appeared as the accounting officer was an acting clerk, not the substantive office holder. I remember raising that issue, and you ruled as a chair that even a person who is in office acting, as long as they have appended a signature to the documents before us, we will proceed to entertain and hear the substantive issues. I'll plead with my friend Senator Cheragay, who is a lawyer like me, that we look at the substantive issues that are before us, other than looking at the technical aspects, because the people of SIAYA are really not interested in these other diversionary issues. They want to know whether the money that was sent to SIAYA has been expended for the benefit of the people, and whether there is value for money. These are the things, Chair, will not help us add value to the people of SIAYA.
Thank you. Senator Cheragay, please just wind up. Yeah, just wrap it up.
I also believe the people of SIAYA would want the rule of law being upheld. It doesn't mean that it should not be upheld. Finally, Chair, the reason we do these meetings is not in vain. In as much as we want to look at the numbers, we must look at the functionality of governance structures within an organization. Say that the role of county assembly who play the primary oversight and executive, the implementer, must be looked at. So the position we have made before, and if my memory serves me right, I know Sifuna is saying his last day might have missed this memo, is that the role of a CCM finance is so critical because he even supervises the entire finance department. So if somebody who is acting can be moved, if we have sanctions or directions as a committee that will be implemented, how sure are we that it will be implemented? So, Chair, it goes beyond the numbers. It is about the rule of law and functionality of governance structure.
Thank you, Senator. Clerks, please confirm, just check and confirm whether there is a substantive matter escalated by the County Assembly to the Senate. Our standing orders allow communication from County Assembly to the Senate and vice versa. If there is such, then we can handle it within the relevant committee. If it has not been done in the proper and formal manner, there is nothing that stops this committee from dealing with the matter suo moto. And if you are to deal with it suo moto, then we'll have to give the delegation from SIAYA an opportunity to prepare their responses. Governor Orengo is here pursuant to Article 179(4) that designates the county governor as the chief executive of the county. So as the CEO of the county, if he brings players who have injuries or players who have no idea how to play the game, it's going to bear on him. But I think also from your submission, you've indicated that as far as the term of that officer is concerned, today could be his last day, just like it might be for Edwin Sifuna. So then they are both properly here, so we can proceed.
Chair, on a point of procedure, Chair. On a point of procedure, Chair.
Except for my Senator Edwin Sifuna, there are so many last days.
Well, we'll start calling him the cat.
And not even that, and Senator Governor Orengo knows very well that our standing orders prohibit us from anticipating debate. The issue is whether this is the last day for Sifuna or not is not yet determined. Let us wait after the fact.
I withdraw, and yes. Senator Sifuna must also withdraw. he's the one who went on record as such. I think, members, let's proceed. Let's get down to the business of the day, and let's ensure that also the politics that is happening outside there does not find its way into these financial statements. We will start with the report on the county executive. We will deal with a few issues which have perused the report of the county assembly, even though we have no evidence of adoption, but I've seen some areas where they've indicated issues remained unresolved. Honorable members, the first test we usually do on these financial statements is to ask ourselves whether the preparers of the financial statements had the capacity, the professional capacity to do so. The report of the executive, we can see, has been signed off by, are the signatories to these financial statements here? Ouma Jackton Odinga. Is Ouma Jackton Odinga in the delegation, Governor?
He's unwell. He's the chief officer, but he's unwell.
What about Christine Phyllis Okoth? Christine Phyllis Okoth?
I'm present.
So you are, what is your role in the organization?
I'm the Director of Finance.
Are you a member of the Institute of Certified Public Accountants?
Yes, I am.
What is your membership number?
13246.
Christine, could you help us check whether this is a member who is in good standing with the Institute of Certified Public Accountants?
Chair, on a procedure.
Yes.
As they check.
Yes, Senator Cherake.
Chair, unless rules have changed, I thought the procedure, if you say somebody is sick, you must provide evidence. I remember the last time we were checked because I've seen this Jackton Ouma assign these financial statements, and we might end up interrogating the financial statement. So is it enough to say he's just sick? I thought there should be some evidence so that when we are even writing a report and if we have anything to raise against and I've seen these are very important officer, is the chief officer of finance and planning. So he is very essential in the running of the, so you can see the CCM is active, the CEO is absent. And there's no evidence to know.
Senator, as we said, the governor as a CEO, if he decides to field Ronaldo in a World Cup match and his team loses, it's up to him. But the person with the professional responsibility is a member of the institute. I think that's a person we might want to ask ourselves whether they are fit and competent, and if they are, we can make progress. Christine?
Yes, thank you, Chair. I have checked the member number 13246, CPA Okoth Christine Phyllis. The member is active but not in good standing. Thank you.
What does that mean when not in good standing with the professional body?
This means that the member has not acquired the required CPDs.
What does it mean, National Treasury, Dr. Ndungu? When you've got a member who's not in good standing with the institute, are they fit to prepare financial statements?
Chair, General, that is the requirement. So if they don't have the qualification, I think it's not in order. Sorry, the CPDs. Because what normally happens is that the CPDs are attending when attending the
Why are we assuming it's because of CPDs? I think it's for them to tell us why they are not in good standing, because it'll be a bit speculative.
I think,
Senator
Chair, we have been told that it is a CPD. Just confirm, because I'm also a member of a profession, and I also attend my continuous professional development courses. Is it for the financial year under review, or when did they drop? Because I know it's an annual thing. It's an annual thing. So you finish at the end of the year in December, then the next year you'll be in good standing. So this is for the year ended 30th June 2025. Was the member in good standing when she was preparing the financial statements? Just clarification.
Well, maybe let me because you are speculating that it could be CPD, it could be something else. Maybe we ask the officer to explain why they're not in good standing, because the database does not give reasons. CPA 13246, I don't know whether we should be calling you CPA if you're not in good standing. So let's just call you Christine Phyllis Okoth.
Chair, It is true that I'm an active member of ISPAC, but for the continuing professional development is what I've not completed because we have 3 years to be in good standing. So the 3 years starts 3 years back, so we still have up to the end of this financial year. So currently, next week, I'm attending a course. I'll be able to get my 20 points, 20 CPD points. Then there's an annual seminar for also another 20 points. So I'll be able to still be in good standing by the end of this financial year. So it's 3 years back.
Now, those explanations you'll make to ISPAC, because we'll make a referral to ISPAC to take disciplinary action on a member who is signing financial statements and is not in good standing. I think the simple English word for that is that you're a quack. So we refer this matter to Senator Sifuna.
Chair, maybe the representative from, she's from ISPAC, right? Can explain something to us.
No, Christine is from ESCC.
Oh, sorry.
Our member from ISPAC, I think, was redeployed. But you can ask. I believe Dr. Ndungu is a CPA.
Yeah, so I think from the governor knows this is a different practice that if you do not get your CPD points, you will not get a practicing certificate for the current year. I don't know what the practice is with them. If you do not, like for me, if I don't have a practicing certificate, I cannot appear before a court of law. So what is the practice when it comes to CPS? Do they get a practicing certificate annually, or what is this 3-year thing that we're hearing?
And Chair, really, how do you make sure that you remain in good standing? Do you have to wait until you are in bad standing, then you start looking for CPD points, or you can still update continuously? And if that is the case, then why did it then the CPA update before then you are rendered to be in bad books?
Chair, I think we are ring fencing here, Dr. Ndungu, because I thought also professional misconduct can make you not be in good standing. Maybe you can clarify that also.
Yeah, that's why we said let's not speculate that it's CPD. Those explanations can be done before ISPAC. They are the ones who know why their members are not in good standing. But to the question raised by Senator Sifuna, either Treasury or Auditor General, you can respond. What happens? They are both regulated professions with more or less similar licensing arrangements.
I have an issue. Once, with advocates, once you're in the role of advocate, you are an advocate. But if you do not take out a practice certificate, then you cannot appear before a court. That does not mean you're not an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. So we need to draw that distinction, that can somebody who is in the role but who has not taken out a practicing certificate which is not required, can be held to be of no good standing. So I think it's not a matter that we can draw conclusions to look at it properly, instead of drawing conclusions which may not reflect the actual practice by accountants, so to speak.
No, we will not draw conclusions. We'll refer the matter to ISPAC because they are the professional body. But as you said, you could have gone to law school and all that, but without a practicing license, you can't appear before a judge or a magistrate. The same thing in accountancy. If you are not in good standing, you are not competent to sign off financial statements. We raise this not because we are petty. We raise this because we are seeing a disturbing trend of counties, and very, very significant counties. And this is on record, professions in county governments. So it's not idle, it is not personal. And I think it's a bit of a disappointment that this week, Kisumu County had a similar problem. And now SIAYA has a similar problem. So we are not drawing any conclusions on that officer until they are subjected to the relevant processes by ISPAC. So I don't know, Ndungu, whether you wanted to say something to close this matter for us to make progress.
Chair, I wanted just to mention the question by Senator Sifuna about the CPDs. These are earned annually. So every year you are supposed to get the CPDs so that now they add up to what is required for the ISPAC to be in good standing. I think that is what I wanted to clarify.
Senator Dulo.
Chair, maybe for us and the county governments, this committee can advise the county governments to their staff, who are the CPA holders or other professions, to be, getting their certificates yearly as required by law, so that we cannot challenge them, or maybe they cannot be challenged as far as what they are doing in those counties are concerned.
Thank you. Yesterday we resolved we are writing to ISPAC to do an advisory to the Senate and to all government entities on the suitability of persons who prepare financial statements. And I think we'll call ISPAC and have that conversation because if you have the right people preparing financial statements, then we are going to have fewer financial issues. And I think when you come to the Senate, we'll be discussing much more productive things. Honourable members, in this report, there are about 4 issues that are cross-cutting. Very many paragraphs on human resource, and perhaps Senator Cherargei's earlier objection is a pointer to the HR problems there. There are about 3 paragraphs on trade payables. There are paragraphs on procurement, paragraphs around governance, internal audit and legal department, and several paragraphs on projects. I wanted to suggest that we start with the paragraphs on trade payables, pending bills, because that is about the lives of service providers and employees in SIAYA. Auditor General, could you just, the 3 are related. Are they related? Because there's a debt to revenue ratio that you have queried under paragraph 23. Then there are specific numbers that you have highlighted: long outstanding trade and other payables, and unconfirmed pending bills. Unconfirmed pending bills, long outstanding trade and other payables, and the debt to revenue ratio, non-compliance with regulations. Can we find a way of dealing with them together? Because they all point to the same note in the financial statements. So maybe just read, start with the first one, unconfirmed pending bills.
Thank you, Chair. This is a report of the Auditor General on County Executive of Kisumu. County Government of SIAYA. Basis for qualified opinion, paragraph number 5. Unconfirmed pending bills. The statement of financial position and as disclosed in note 32 to the financial statement reflect a balance of Kenya shillings 1,889,967,165 in respect of trade and other payables as at then the year end. However, the amount includes Kenya shillings 14,925,862 in respect of provision for security and cleaning services, which was not supported by local services holders, LSOs, inspection and acceptance reports, job cards for cleaning works done, and work attendance register. In the circumstances, the accuracy and completeness of account payables balance of Kenya shillings 14,925,862 could not be confirmed.
Okay, Governor, as is the procedure, you will read your response and maybe just point us to the page where it is.
The response is on page 6. The audit observation is duly noted. The amount of Kenya shillings 14,925,862 included in the trade and other payables, that is in note 32, relates to pending bills for security and cleaning services. These bills are properly supported by the following documentation. 1, flag for security services, approved local service orders or LSOs, and inspection and acceptance reports. 2, regime cleaning services, approved local service orders and job cards for the cleaning works performed. 3, anchor security services, approved local service orders. The contractor for the provision of security services provided a list of work attendance sheet which was not verifiable and could not be confirmed and paid. Implementation status. The pending bills totaling shillings 14,925,862 is supported by LSO and job cards and inspection and acceptance. And these are found in Annexure number 5, copies of approved LSOs for flag fort security services, together with inspection and acceptance reports, LSOs and job cards for regime cleaning services, and LSOs for anchor security services. These annexures are found in Volume 1 of our bundles, an extra to this report.
Auditor General, this was an issue of just accounting for the 14 million. Are those LSOs and records referred to by the governor, do they explain the 14.9 million?
Thank you, Chair. We did verify, however, payments of 9.3 million payable to Anchor. Do I mention the name?
Yes, yes.
Payable to Anchor Security are not supported with the attendance registers, and then the invoices are not well linked to the LPUs. Thank you.
Okay. Did you point this to the entity when you are doing the reviewing their responses?
Yes, Chair, we did.
Fine. Governor, the payment to Anchor Security Services, you said that is 9 million. It's approximately?
Yes, 9,354,861.
So, Governor, we need to close that gap. Anchor Security Services, their payments, the Auditor General says that there's still a problem. Not supported by attendance sheet, and the invoices, the auditor says, do not seem to be linked to the service provided.
And we have noted as much in our response that the contractor for provision of security services, that's Anchor Security Services, provided a list of work attendance sheets which was not verifiable and could not be confirmed and paid on the basis of non-provision of work attendance sheets and so on.
So ideally, Auditor, if this is an outstanding payment, if it's a trade payable, and then the records supporting that demand are not verifiable, perhaps then the entity should just get it off their list of payables. Because we cannot demand that they provide evidence for something that's clearly not explained. If it was a payment, then we'd have a problem. Governor, has that payment been made subsequent to this audit observation?
The payment has not been made.
So, Auditor, what do you advise on this?
Thank you, Chair. I think our advice would be that it's expunged from their records as a creditor then.
Okay, so we can keep this in view and you deal with it in the substantive audit for 2025-2026?
Yes, we are in the field right now.
Thank you. Now, let's go to the next paragraph on pending bills on trade payables so that we tie all these and get done with note number 32. What was your next observation on trade payables?
Thank you, Chair. Emphasis of matter, paragraph number 2. Long outstanding trade and other payables, the statement of financial position, and as disclosed in note 32 to the financial statement reflects trade and other payables balance of Kenya shillings 1,889,967,165. A review of the pending bill schedule revealed that bills totaling Kenya shillings 184,615,904 were brought forward from prior years. However, pending payables with some dating back to 10 years have not been settled and no reason has been provided for the failure to pay the bill. Contrary to Regulation 41(2) of the Public Finance Management County Government Regulations 2015, which states that debt service payment shall be first charged on the county revenue fund, and the accounting officer shall ensure that this is done to the extent possible that the county government does not default in debt obligations. Further, failure to settle the bills during the year to which they relate distort the financial statements and adversely affects the budgetary provisions for the subsequent they form a first charge.
Governor, your response?
Yes, my response is as follows. Out of the total of long-standing trade payables of Kenya shillings 184,615,904, a total of Kenya shillings 51,895,414 has been settled, leaving a balance of Kenya shillings 92,764,523. The long outstanding trade and other payables, that is note number 32, largely relate to bills brought forward from prior years. The accumulation of these long outstanding payables, some dating back to several years, is mainly attributed to delayed exchequer release from the national government and realized on-source revenue and overall budgetary constraints experienced during the period. Implementation status: 1, the balance of trade payable is Kenya shillings 1,264,182,784.34 cents. A payment plan has been prepared to clear the remaining balance as per the attached annexure 8. Number 2, included in the Kenya shillings 1.8 billion odd is a figure of Kenya shillings 294,173,952.23 cents relating to staff payables. Out of the total staff payables of Kenya shillings 294,173,952.23 cents, Kenya shillings 150,519,384.40 cents has been paid, leaving a balance of 142,3,654,566.83 cents provided in the budget for the financial year 2026-2027. The outstanding balance is per the attached detailed breakdown, which is found in annexure number 8. And again, annexure number 8 is in our volume 1, which contains a summary of pending bills brought forward of Kenya shillings 184,615,904 and corresponding bank statements and summary of pending bills, payment status as at 21st July 2026, and the payment plan and outstanding staff payables.
Auditor General, are you able to verify the payments that the governor has submitted were made?
Thank you, Chair. We verified the balance of
out of the
51 million, which was paid during the year.
So sorry, yeah, just say it again.
51.5, which was paid during the year, leaving a balance
Is
of
it 0.5 or 0.8?
or 25.20 out of the 184 that we had queried.
How much can you? The governor says 51.8 million has been settled
During the year, or out of the 184.
Does that correspond with the analysis?
Yes.
Okay.
But now the bigger picture is on the global figure of 1.8.
Well, let's go step by step. So leaving a balance of 92 million. Now, honorable members, if we go to note number 32, we are able to see the aging analysis of trade and other payables. Over 3 years was 32 million, 2 to 3 years was 41 million, 1 to 2 years was 110 million, totaling to the 184 million cited by the Auditor General. Governor, could you let us know whether the 51.8 million affected the debt over 3 years or the debt of between 2 and 3 years? Because there's an aging analysis there for us to confirm that you are settling it on a first charge basis.
I think I'll look at the long annexure that is contained from page 8, volume 1, annexure number 8, which runs from page 188, and is more than 100 pages. One can be able to glean out the details that the chair is asking for.
So I think, Governor, what you see in note 32, you've got an aging analysis. Now, because you're not doing the audit today, what we want to find out is, having settled 51 million, how has it affected the size of your debt older than 3 years? Did it clear the debt over 3 years? Because that 59 is greater than the 32 million there. Or is it that you settled current debt? Because if you go to the schedule under Annex 8, we are still seeing a listing which has 2018, 2019 as outstanding. Page 189 of your Annex 8. I think row number 2, row number 3, row number 2, or Jande Enterprises, financial year is 2018. Amount outstanding is that 1.2 million. Row number 3, Cloud9 Cleaning Limited, financial year 2017. Maintenance of Nyangor Wadore Road. Amount outstanding is 687,800. The concern of the Auditor General is that you have debt that is older than should be still in your books. You have paid 59 million, but in your schedule, we are still seeing outstanding debt of 2017 and 2018. So that is a question whether your 59 million prioritized the older debt on a first charge basis. And your officers should be able to just summarize and tell us how that debt has moved, having paid 59.
Chair, the 59, you'll find it's most current. The older debt in relation to previous audit question number 5, most of those old debts supporting documentations are quite lacking. They're not, the majority of them are not verifiable. And we'll see some are going from 2015, 2017, 2018, 2019. So most current for the 59.
So why are you carrying it as debt when it is not verifiable? When the courts gave you the leeway to use internal audit and whatever processes to establish your real stock of debt, when the accrual reporting now recognizes debt in your, I think debt now goes in your what's the name of this statement? In a statement of financial position. It is now taken as a liability. It goes into your balance sheet. In the past, it was just a disclosure. So why would you bring into your balance sheet numbers that are not verifiable? What is your plan to verify and close and say, this we shall pay, this we shall not pay? I know the amounts are not very huge compared to what we have been seeing in other counties, but there needs to be a commitment.
We've got a pending bills committee that is examining all these debts, and we are waiting a report, particularly on these old debts, because as you rightly point out, their verifiability is in question, and some of them, you know, the creditors are demanding but without documents, but some of them, the creditors are not demanding. But I think we need to undertake a scrutiny that is accurate and conclusive. And that's why we formed a pending bills committee to deal with this matter, and its work has not been concluded.
Did it have a definite timeline?
Yeah, but we are hoping that, you know, in the next 2 months we'll complete the exercise.
Auditor General, this is something that you can look at. When we see the percentages, I think to be fair to the entity, we have seen cases where debt over 3 years sometimes is 60% of the total debt stock, which tells you that they are doing nothing to settle, they are doing nothing to verify. So I think this, because that was 10%, 184 was 10% of the total debt, which was greater than 1 year. So maybe we could ask you to look at this critically. Don't drop this observation, because there's still some 92 million outstanding. Keep it under serious view and advise us whether they've done the first charge route in settlement of those bills.
Well guided, Chair.
Senator Chiraki?
Chair, looking at note number 32, Governor, on the issue of employee payables, I thought these are statutory deductions and they must be paid because it is the money you deduct and from the employees. Why are you still owing these employees 294,173,952? And what is the story behind it? I thought it should be subjected to fee for first in, first out. That will be my question on employment payables. And what, the second question, what is the composition of these employment payables? As in lab fund, lab trust, what is the story behind it? And finally, Chair, my second question, I've seen under 1 year, the aging analysis provided by note number 32 in your financial statements, under 1 year, there is 1.7 billion, a growth of 90%. Why the sudden increment of this 90% within 1 year? What is the implication, or this pending bill or trade payables? What does it account for? And finally, Chair, I've seen in the audit that there are some pending bills that could be held up to 10 years in the observation of the OAG certificate in this 32.75 million. Governor, this pending bill of 32 million plus, is it legible or ineligible? Can it be traced back to a specific accountability? Because sometimes my direct question, Governor, the third and final question is, did you do what most of your colleagues were doing, whether legible or ineligible pending bills as per the question of the certificate that there are some pending bills in SIAYA County government that have gone beyond more than 10 years. So in this 32 that is grown beyond 3 years, is it eligible as per the financial statements you have provided? Chair, I yield back the mic. That will be my 3 questions.
Let's take Senator Maruma's question.
Yeah, just one. On the employee payables, we have 294 million. Is it possible to have an aging analysis of that 294 million so that we can be able to know for the debt over 3 years, the 32 million, how much is trade payable, how much is employee payable? For the 2 to 3 years, 41 million, how much is trade payable, how much is employee payables? Is it possible to disaggregate it like that?
Okay. Governor?
I think I'll give my colleague to answer as to questions of detail. But I can say that at the time I took over office, we had a terrible position in terms of salary byproduct, which included the statutory deductions. Some of them were contributions by staff. Some of it was VAT and pay as you earn. NSSF, we had huge figures unpaid salary byproducts. But over the years, we have taken the position that salary byproducts must be paid, and that necessitated dealing with the arrears, but making sure that currently there are no salary byproducts that are not paid. The mechanisms that have been set by the Treasury now actually make it impossible for salary byproducts not to be paid when salaries are being paid. As to the aging, that can be done. We can be able to do an aging analysis as indicated by Senator Marwa. But let me see to...
Okay, proceed. Susie.
Chair, on salary payables, the 294, as of to date, we have already paid 150 million, and we are left with a balance of 143. And one of the huge debt that is still outstanding, it is defunct local authority. It's a debt of around 44 million. This we inherited. We have been reducing it year by year. We inherited around 75. Now we are at 44. Even for this financial year, we have budgeted around 20 or 30 million to be able to pay. This is from 2013. And then for pension, as Governor had mentioned earlier, we had inherited huge debt in pensions, which now, even this financial year, we have reduced this debt up by 45 million, to 45 million, which was 74. And the other huge one was insurance deductions, not the SACCO deductions, the 27 million, which we have also paid, and now we are having an outstanding of 13 million. Now, to cure this in FY 26-27...
CC, where are you reading from?
Sorry?
Where are you reading from, those numbers, so that you can follow? Are they in Annex 8? And if they're in Annex 8, which page are they on?
He has said, Chair, in addition, out of 294, 44 is attached to municipalities. That is main 250 million. So can you segregate?
Yeah, is that here?
Yes.
Because you have referred to Annex 8 additional. I've been looking for it because it could help us answer the question raised by the senators.
There is an additional information that should have provided in the attachment, which is here.
It is not here.
But if you go to Annex 32, Note 32 of the financial statements, you will see trade and other payables, employee payables of 294. So I was giving a status of the 294 to date.
Yeah, that's okay. That 294, you have paid some. You are remaining with a balance of 143. We just wanted to get visibility on the makeup of that outstanding 143. Are they deductions that you have made and you have not remitted, or are you dealing with past obligations? That's just what we want to establish.
We have dealt with the past obligations, and some of them currently are being dealt with.
Did you say that 44 million is from the local authorities?
The fund local authority, the 44 million, yes.
44 million.
44 million.
But
That's
when you-
paid or outstanding?
Outstanding.
Outstanding.
Yes.
When you look at debt over 3 years, it's 32 million. How do you reconcile the two numbers in the aging analysis?
Okay.
Yeah.
Senator
This thing
Morgan.
of defunct local authorities, you know, we once dealt with the issue of interest and penalties. So I'd like to know, is this, what you haven't paid, is it in that category of interest and penalties? Am I the principal amount? Because that will give us a clear picture where we are. Is it in that category of penalty and interest?
I think it's on all combined.
Tell us what is principal and what is interest. How much is the principal amount and remitted, and what is on interest and penalties? Because we were told that the COG was trying to negotiate waiver of interest and penalties. I don't know whether you have tried that from SIAYA.
I think at the level of the COG, we have been trying to deal with the question of penalties and interest because they compound the figures as years go on. But at the time of payment, the entity to whom the money is paid, they don't segregate and say what you paid is penalty or interest. It's just a sum paid to the total due, which includes penalty and interest.
Senator Makueni, is it Makueni that told us that they had arrived at some agreement and they had been given some waiver? You remember they told us they had arrived at some arrangement. I don't know why, Governor, Senior Counsel, you have not made that attempt.
Discussions, but you know there are various entities.
Because that will help you a lot in cleaning up your books.
We're in discussions on this issue.
No, Clark,
Then now the other problem is nobody knows what is principal. The way Governor is telling us is that you're not able to tell whether what you're paying is principal or it's interest and penalties. I think that's a big problem that needs to be dealt with. Yeah.
I wanted the clerks just to go to the recommendations we made with respect to deductions and remitted, or the issue of defunct local authorities, because the House made a recommendation that the counties get some certificate from the pensions funds. Just get the exact wording, and then we can advise accordingly.
As the
Senator
recommendation, I thought there was a document that the CEC was referring to, number one. Number two, in trying to reply to the question asked by myself and Senator Marumba in what is the composition, he has not indicated whether there is interest in this. So I thought that should be clear because he only mentioned that 44 million was accrued in the defunct municipalities. So these 250 million, before we go for the recommendations of the certificates that we require. And he was reading a document. Maybe you can give direction on that so that we can know the composition of the trade employee payable.
Yep, so we want to, Clerk, you have the wording?
Yes.
Just read the wording and then we go back to the CC.
The committee recommended the following. 1, all county governments must provide a certificate of compliance from the country's pension schemes as proof of payment or non-payment of previous year's budget pension deductions to the control of budget before release of funds. 2, all county governments and their entities must prepare and approve budgets that are consistent with the repayment plans. As a precondition for approving budgets, the COB shall ensure that budgets incorporate the agreed repayment plans prior to approving county budgets. Furthermore, the COB shall ensure that the provided budgets are used for the intended purpose. 3, a county executive with a pension debt of 300 million or less shall repay the pension debt within one financial year, effective financial year 2025-26. The last one, a county executive with pension debt of 1.5 billion and below shall, with effect from the financial year 25-26, make annual payments of at least Kenya shillings 300 million per year over a period of 5 years or until full settlement, whichever comes first.
Did we make specific recommendations for SIAYA? Because I remember the governor appeared, but we didn't...
No, for SIAYA we did not.
So they are subject to the general observations that we made.
Yes.
We adopted the auditor's report as is.
Yes.
So it means that these specific recommendations need to go out to SIAYA so that at the next appointment, they should be able to show us a certificate of compliance from those pension funds, the payment plans, and the agreements that they've come up with from the pension funds.
Yes, sure.
And you will still go back to the issue of the breakdown. The question raised by Senator Mogany is it's a double-edged sword, because that interest has been factored in the actuarial valuation in the pension funds. So if you go to negotiate to waive it, you're also affecting the funds. So it's a very dicey situation where we want the county governments to pay less, but the less they pay, the less the employees get in terms of pension benefits. So I think it's something which the chair of COG sat here and said it's a crisis that needs to be dealt with. And we all agreed that those are the engagements that the Senate wants to have with the COG, not those other extraneous matters. So let's go back to the details. CC, do you have the details of that 143 million?
Chair, yes, we have, but it's not appended to the exhibits.
Has the Auditor General had visibility on it?
No.
So it means we cannot take it because we are not doing the audit here. Auditor General, was there any paragraph where you flagged unremitted deductions in SIAYA? Did you test whether the current practice, whether they are deducting and not remitting? Because I heard the CEC talk of some insurance premiums, etc. Are those for the current period, CEC, or those are for the past period?
Chair, those are for the past period. For the current period, it is impossible to...
All deductions have been remitted?
Yes.
Auditor General, is it something that you tested?
Yes, we did, Chair.
And you can state, you can give us the assurance that all deductions have been remitted?
Yes, we did. We confirmed during our compliance audit and fine audits.
The CEC is saying that now it is impossible to deduct and not remit. Maybe it can be a learning point. How are you doing it? Because other counties are deducting and not remitting.
Maybe, Chair.
Yes, Dr. Andogo?
I just wanted to comment on that. We have rolled out a system, the Human Resource Integrated System, where the payroll is attached to the IFMIS. So that's why they are saying you cannot, because the statutory deductions are directly deducted from their payments.
But that started in which financial year?
From April 2026.
April 2026?
I think that is, yeah.
So we'll see that in the financial statements for the next cycle?
Exactly.
Okay. Senator Gataya, please go on record.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Senator Mwenda Gataya, Mofaya, the Rakaditi member of this committee.
Karibu, Senator. I also have communication from the Senator SIAYA. He's chairing an energy committee meeting and discussing things that are of relevance to SIAYA County. I think they are meeting the nuclear, I don't know whether it's still called Nupair. It used to be called Nupair when that gentleman was there.
Engineer Juma.
It's still Nupair. I think they're having a conversation on the nuclear project in SIAYA. And I think that's a very, very important conversation. If he's able to complete the meeting in good time, he will join us. Senator Maruma.
You've mentioned Engineer Juma, and I discovered that it is him. I've actually moved across the world with him when I was in the Energy Committee. Interesting times. We meet again. Yeah, but,
are you conflicted?
I'm not conflicted.
Okay.
Yeah, but Treasury, I'm wondering how that system is working. They deduct at source, but what is the extent? Because then there is the statutory deductions, and then there are deductions to do with loans, you know, for banks, you know, for SACCOs. Is everything, as long as the payslip is written, deduct this, they deduct everything, or how does it happen? Or it's only for the NSSF, you know, SHA and so on?
Proceed.
As far as we're concerned, is universal. All deductions are paid, and they're not retained by the county. And we started that before the Treasury directions were made, because we had a big problem with these salary byproducts, and staff were not very happy about it. So we said we must pay the deductions at the time when they're due. You pay the entire salary, the deductions. For example, if it's in a bank, a contributory entity is with a particular bank, then that money goes to that bank directly.
Okay, Auditor General, keep this in view because the next year that the CC is offering, we cannot take it at this point if you have not looked at it. Senator Chiraki.
Chair, the governor did not respond on this under 1 year of an increase of 90%, 1.7 billion. He didn't give us a clarity. Although on the employee payables, all of us agreed that this was money that was already deducted, budgeted for and deducted. So where is it? That is the whole point. So the OAG and the county must tell us where this, now that the segregation has been provided by CCM, this 294, but this growth of 90% within 1 year of 1.7 billion on the note number 32. What is the composition, Governor?
Governor, did you get the question?
I still don't get the question. I apologize.
Let me
rephrase your question.
Governor, Senator, and the principal of Linda Mwananchi. Let me repeat.
Order. We have the governor of SIAYA.
But he has already declared himself as a party leader.
No, that's
anyway, that's another story for another day.
Yeah.
So, under 1 year...
That will be a story, it's reality.
But is the chair... Governor, is the chair who is ruling it out of order, it's not me. So, Governor, my only concern within 1 year of all this total 1.8 billion chair, there was a growth of 1.7 billion of 90% within 1 year. So I want to understand the story behind it. That is my, if you can give me one.
Where you're getting that.
That is not number 32.
I don't know where you're getting that growth because the opening balance was 1.4, which came to 1.8.
No, here, if you look at aging analysis down there, under 1 year, they were in financial year 2024, and I think the chair has analyzed, there was a growth of 1.7 billion within 1 year. So the story behind it, out of 1.8 billion.
I think I think it's the responsibility of the county to respond.
Yes.
Senator Maruma is a mathematics guru.
No, to understand because up here, where we have the trade and other payables, it was from 1.4 to 1.8. But he has corrected that he's looking at these lower numbers here.
Yeah, the aging analysis was not number 32.
I believe you got the question. I would not offer a response on your behalf. It is your numbers.
Chair, if you look at note 32, page 33, the 1.4 is for 1st July 2024, and then at the end of that year, 1.8 billion. And then the aging analysis, we are not analyzing 1.4, we are analyzing 1.8. Now, the makeup of the 90% is 1.7 out of the 1.8. Now, what is the driver for this 1.7? For FY that year, you find.
Chair,
Can we establish whether that is growth or that is composition?
Chair, that is composition. What is the composition of the 1.8? If you see the
so
total,
it is not a 90% growth.
It is not a 90% growth.
Why is it difficult to provide that explanation?
So, but in the analysis, it says under 1 year. Chair, can you look? Under 1 year, it was 90%, a growth of 1.7. The years have been given there. Total tied above is 1.8. So I really want to know the composition. It is them who have done the analysis, although I'm aware that somebody who did was not in good standing. But the point I'm trying to make is why this growth? That is my only concern.
Okay.
Because if the governor can tell us he was doing a project or something that created that exponential growth, then if there is a proof to that, we leave it there, Chair. And it is their own documents.
Fine. Can you respond?
I think the document speaks for itself, and I cannot do any better. When documents speak for themselves, explanations do not add anything to it. My understanding is composition, like under 1 year, debt of 1.7 billion was 90% of the total sum of 1.8 billion. It was not growth.
So, Governor, what is through the chair? What is the composition of this 1.7?
Yeah, the question is,
Senator Murumu?
We did not pay 1.7 billion.
Yes, within 1 year.
Under 1 year. What is it? Is it salary arrears that delayed? What is it? Why accumulate a pending bill of 1.7 billion? That is what Senator Charagi is asking. Is it delayed exchequer that then after June 30th, you're able to pay? You know that explanation.
I think my vice chair is giving leading answers. I don't know where he should sit with us or sit with the governor. I'm confused. But Chair, I think the point is making, although he's leading the governor to maybe hold a clutching straw as he drowns, by telling him it could be salary. So the composition, because the governor, remember in your documents, you have indicated through the chair that he has a payment plan. So we want to know under this 1 year, if you had a payment plan and you have not paid in one single year 1.7 billion, what is the story behind it? Thank you, Chair.
I think that's fair. You can make reference to the annexures that are before us. I don't think none of the questions from these senators is idle, so you have a responsibility to respond to them.
Chair, of the 1.7 billion, at the end of that financial year, you'll find we did not receive exchequer as of end of June. So it flowed into July. So heavily, the 1.87 is recurrent, staff and development projects heavily. And then for that financial year, we had OSR that we were not able to meet, and hence the composition of the 1.7.
Do you have that information now? How much was the exchequer? That was released late. Is it possible for you to give us that figure now?
Proof that movement, because even if it was released at the cutoff of the end of financial year, there must be a view, because it's your money. The fact that the cutoff was the end, so where is it? Because, Chair, I can see a number of projects which we had linked with the earlier question on the issue of development projects, and he says part of the composition includes the projects.
Chair, if you look at Annex 8, and then there's also additional Annex 8.
Additional annex?
237.
I can only see...
Page 237.
237. We are there.
I think, CC, we are taking too long on this matter. Give us quick, direct answers. You have long annexures here. Just point us to the pages, and then if they speak for themselves, we can proceed.
237, page 237, Annex 8, and then there's a summary. We have put there under 1 year. The total pending bills was 1.7. Total amount paid to date is 573, 898, 967. Outstanding balance is 1.1. That is the 90%. So page 237, Annex 8.
Is that the document signed by, who are the signatories to that?
Enoch and Cornell.
Okay. Senator Gatai?
Yeah, but...
just a minute, Senator Gatai.
We thought we could attend a very serious business with liaison, the two of us with Njong. We can represent you now that you are chair as well.
Okay, I could grant you leave to deal with that, and you can leave at at your convenience.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Senator
You could have
Cherargei.
also thanked Maruma for induction.
Senator Cherargei.
So, Chair, so that is why, you know, I don't know whether since his term is ending tomorrow, because in your presentation, you had said you owe 44 million municipalities, but here in the documents, and I think, Chair, that is why it was important, because if you see it is 50 million here. His document, page 237. Chair, that's why you were insisting to him that he should refer to something, because when he was answering us with Maruma, he says the defunction was 44 million, which I noted. But when you go to the document, just in passing, yes, it is 50,895,163.7 that was salary arrears for defunct and local authority, which forms part of employee payables. So,
what I think what we can do on this particular matter, 90% of the debt was current. 10% of the debt was older than 1 year. Some of it has been settled. Auditor General, please keep this in view and let us know whether this 1 billion, the 90%, was settled in the year under review or it has graduated to the next age band. If it has graduated to the next age band, then we'll have a problem. But debt within 1 year is fairly manageable. I think we have seen situations where some counties come here with debt older than 1 year, making up 60 or 70% of their total debt stock. So we can allow the Auditor General to look at this, scrutinize it thoroughly. Auditor, give us an assurance that when it comes to deductions, there are no deductions that are made and are not remitted to the statutory bodies. I think it's something that I believe is within the scope of the audit that you are doing currently.
That is true, Chair. It was one of our subject matters during our audit, and it is still our subject matter. We are checking that all statutory deductions are being remitted in time. And if indeed we find any this time loud, we are still going to report on it. Thank you, Chair.
So members, Senator Maruma, finally?
Yeah. On what Senator Cherargei was referring to, you know, the 50.98 million, there's a figure down there, that amount paid is 6.5. I think that's how you're getting the 44 million. The only issue that is still pending is that when you get 44 million, it is not tying up with the figure of 32 million. They are varying. So we need to know which is which.
Okay, so let's keep this matter in view. Let's proceed to the other cross-cutting matter, because the third one is just the debt to revenue ratio, which stood at what percentage, Auditor General?
Chair, the ratio stood at 27%.
Against a baseline of?
Against 20%.
Against 20%. Yes. Again, we have agreed that in this financial year, you will do that assessment for all the counties, so that when you are doing a ranking of counties, PBO is working on something to rank counties on objective fiscal responsibility parameters. We are able to see where SIAYA sits in the 47 counties. And I think we've also seen very, very bad debt to revenue ratios, 60, 70%. So SIAYA is at 27%. Perhaps, Governor, maybe on that, because this is a matter of compliance with the PFM Act and its regulations. You are involved in the new constitution, you are involved and you are on the scene when the current PFM Act was being processed in Parliament and when the regulations were being processed. We have a problem as a Senate where governors are treating regulations and legislation as suggestions rather than mandatory obligations. What do we do when the law requires you to be at a certain percentage in terms of fiscal prudence and you're beyond that percentage? Of course, we will make our own recommendations, but do you think this debt to revenue ratio of 20% is practical for county governments?
I don't think it is practical, but at the same time, you know, if you expand the ratio, then the question of governance as to management of debt will be a little bit more complicated. So I think it is better to keep to the law as it is, instead of trying to expand that ratio for purposes of convenience. Because debt, even at the national level, management of debt has become a very big problem. And even at the county level, if debt is not managed, it means that a lot of people who work with the counties, including contractors, service providers, are not being able to meet their, their demands. But I rather, if you ask me personally, I think it should be maintained.
We would be asking the Auditor General to give us a global view to see whether there is any county that has complied with that ratio, and maybe take on that conversation, because there is also another ratio here, the fiscal responsibility ratio on wage bill. The auditor indicates you're at 43% employee costs to total revenue. But if I recall, the last time you were before this committee, you were below 40%. It seems to be growing. Auditor General, is it growing, this wage bill to total revenue? I thought SIAYA was one of those counties that was still in the 30% region. Can you just read your finding on that? Because it's a substantive finding.
Thank you, Chair. Report on lawfulness, paragraph number 22. Non-compliance with fiscal responsibility on wage bill. The statement of financial performance and as disclosed in note 9 to the financial statement reflects employee cost of Kenya shillings 2,975,810,506, representing 43% of the total receipts. Amount of Kenya shillings 6,958,101,730. This was contrary to Regulation 25(1)(a) and (b) of the Public Finance Management County Governments Regulations 2015, which requires that the county government expenditure on wages and benefits for its public officers shall not exceed 35% of the county government's total revenue. In the circumstances, management was in breach of the law.
Governor, what was your response to that?
Yeah, maybe I needed your guidance, because looking for basis for qualified inaccuracies in compensation of employees and reconcile salary arraignment payments and supported payment for insurance, the one you have indicated, why don't we combine all so that we handle on lawfulness and effectiveness, because all of them are related to the issue of employee compensation.
Yeah, we'll deal with the HR issues. This then is the entry point. Okay. Let's get the governor's response. Governor.
Thank you. The county government of SIAYA acknowledges the Auditor General's observations regarding the wage bill as a percentage of revenue. The county takes fiscal responsibility requirements under the Public Finance Management Act and the Public Finance Management County Government Regulations 2015 seriously, and provides the following clarification on the computation and compliance status. Clarification on the applicable...
sorry, Governor, which page in your document?
I'm on page 40. I don't know whether I got it wrong. Paragraph 22.
Okay.
Yes, paragraph 22. Clarification on the applicable revenue base, which is Regulation 25, Sub-Regulation 1A and B of the Public Finance Management County Governments Regulations 2015, requires that the county government's expenditure on wages and benefits for its public officers shall not exceed 35% of the county government's total revenue. The audit computation used total receipts of Kenya shillings 6.9 billion as the denominator, resulting in a wage bill ratio of 43%. However, the appropriate and consistent basis for measuring compliance with the fiscal responsibility principle on the wage bill, as applied in the county strategy paper and the budget preparation, is the approved budget revenue for the financial year. Using the approved budgeted revenue of Kenya shillings 9.6 billion as the denominator provides the accurate and policy consistent measure of the wage bill ratio as demonstrated below. Wage bill ratio computation, the county government's wage bill for the financial year 2024-2025 is computed as follows. Wage bill ratio is equal to the total employee costs divided by approved budgeted revenue times 100, which is equal to 2.9 odd billion. And that results into a 30% ratio. At the beginning of the financial year, the wage bill to budgeted revenue ratio stood at 33%. During budget implementation, the actual wage bill to budgeted revenue ratio was maintained at 33%, which is well within the statutory ceiling of 35% prescribed under Regulation 25, Sub-Regulation 1A and B of the Public Finance Management County Government's Regulations 2015 and Part 3 of the County Fiscal Strategy Framework. I come to the compliance with the fiscal responsibility principle. The county government of SIAYA has complied with the fiscal responsibility principle on the wage bill. The 31% ratio measured against the approved budget revenue demonstrates a prudent management of the wage bill within the legal limit of 35%. The county continues to implement measures to contain personnel costs while ensuring staffing for effective service delivery across all departments. The variance between the audit computation of 43% and the county's computation of 31% arises from the use of different denominators. The county maintains that the use of approved budgeted revenue is the correct and consistent basis for assessing compliance with Regulation 25, as it aligns with the county fiscal strategy paper, budget estimates, and the framework used by the Commission on Revenue Allocation and the National Treasury in monitoring county fiscal responsibility. We further wish to state that the County Executive of SIAYA recruited, implemented the overdue promotions and SRC salary reviews for all staff. This resulted to the general increase in the wage bill, which is still within the recommended threshold. So really is a debate between what is a denominator.
Governor, I disagree with you. The PFM regulation talks about revenue, and revenue is defined. I think the PFM Act, in definition of terms, revenue is defined. And I thought the argument would not be whether to use the budgeted revenue as a denominator as opposed to actual revenue. Because there are three numbers here. There is a 6.958 billion cited by the Auditor General. But when you go to the substantive audit observation on budget effectiveness, budgetary control and performance, there is another figure of 7.45 billion. as actual receipts. The argument should be, the denominator should be the actual receipt, not the budgeted revenue. Because the budgeted revenue, you underperformed by 22%. If we took that route, the national government would always be exaggerating its budget so as to justify its decision to take on debt. So, Auditor General, I want clarity on what is the total revenue for the entity. Was it 7.458 billion or 6.958 billion? Your observation under budgetary control and performance, maybe just read it, budgetary control and performance. Because the base the governor is referring to cannot be the base, cannot be the denominator for computing the fiscal responsibility.
Emphasis on matter budgetary control and performance. The statement of comparison of budget and actual amount reflects final receipt budget and actual amount on comparable basis of Kenya shillings 9,602,122,988 and Kenya shillings 7,458,918,285 respectively, resulting in underfunding of Kenya shillings 2,143,204,703 or 22% of the budget. Similarly, the county executive spent an amount of Kenya shillings 7,486,87,487 against actual receipts of 7,458,918,285, resulting in an over expenditure of Kenya shillings 27,169,202.
So, Auditor, what is the actual receipt? Because actual receipt should be the revenue.
Yes.
So here you are talking of 7.4 billion, and on this other paragraph you're talking of 6.9 billion. What should we use? Because it has been the view of this committee that the denominator should be the actual receipts or the actual revenue, rather than the budgeted revenue. But here we have got two different numbers for actual receipts.
We are talking of 6.
This is the transfer. County executive. The county executive received this amount.
Chair, we using the CRF, the amount which was due to county executive is 6.9.
What is 7.4?
The total for the county government.
Yes, it's the county government of SIAYA. And I think the base should be the total receipts rather than some partial amount. Because clerks, if you check on the definition of revenue in the PFM Act or regulations, what does it say?
It refers you to the CRA, Commission for Allocation Act, where it is defined. It's not defined in the regulations or in the Act.
Yes.
It takes you to the Commission for Revenue Allocation.
And how is it defined in that Act?
And it's defined, revenue means all taxes imposed by the national government under Article 209 of the Constitution and any other revenue, including investment income, that may be authorized by an Act of Parliament, but excludes revenues referred to under Articles 209, Subarticle 4, and Article 206, Subarticle 1A, B of the Constitution. So it is not offering any clarity on the issue.
You know, Chair.
Senator Mormo?
The law can be unclear, although people say the law is very clear. But there's nothing as unclear as the law. And that's why we go to appellate courts and the Supreme Court. You know, numbers are very clear. If transfers from CRF, not 6, is 6.9, auditor, 6.9 transfers from CRF, not 6 of your statements. And then here you say, in emphasis of matter, budgetary control and performance, that the budget is 9.6, actual amounts are 7.4. Where is 7.4 coming from? You said for the total for the county government. County government, do you mean the executive and the assembly, or what do you mean by county government? Total receipts for county government.
The variance between the two numbers. National Treasury?
Yes, Chair. I want to give the definition of revenue as prescribed in the PFM Act. And it is indicated that county government revenue means all money derived by or on behalf of a county government from levies, rates, fees, charges, or any other source authorized by the Constitution or an act of Parliament. So I agree with you that the ratio should be on what the county received.
And then in the regulations, it provides further clarity and says, for the avoidance of doubt, the revenue referred to shall not include revenues that accrue from extractive natural resources, including as oil and coal. So, I mean, Governor Orengo is, has made landmark, you know, interpretations in the courts and even on the floor of the House. But on this, in terms of revenue, the Senate is guided by the total revenue, the total receipts, rather than the budgeted revenue. If you went budgeted revenue approach, the national government or county governments can do a lot of mischief, because all they need to do is to overstate their budgets, then borrow, and then they underperform by 50% in terms of raising of revenue. And then they will tell you, no, we are still okay because it was as per budget. So, Auditor, the only challenge we are throwing your way is that those two numbers must tie. The base that you are using for fiscal responsibility should be the same base you are using for budget performance, for analysis of budget performance. But whatever the case, even if we use that 7 billion, you are at 39.9%, which is still above the 35%. And even if you use the same base, because you have the same argument on the debt to revenue ratio, it's still slightly above the 20%. You are not too far off because we have outliers. We have counties. A county was here which was at 67% on that particular indicator. But please keep an eye on it so that it does not grow. And don't look for a favorable explanation for the growth. Just keep an eye on it.
I want to concede from what the Treasury has read out from the county, from the Public Finance Management Act, as to what is county government revenue. I think the definition is more akin to what you're saying, the Chair, as opposed to what I was saying earlier. When the law is clear, it is wrong to try and manipulate it. So we stand directed on that issue.
Okay, Senator Cherargei had proposed that we look at the HR issues all at once, and we've got very limited time. We've got non-adherence to approved staff establishment, lack of human resource plans and policies, employees without personal numbers, unsupported recruitment of employees, failure to provide staff appointment and posting documents, of course, the non-compliance on fiscal responsibility on wage bill, irregular salary payments, And in the prior year, there were almost 10 paragraphs that relate to weaknesses in human resource management. HR is a regulated profession, just like accountancy, just like law, just like procurement. Do we have the director HR in the delegation, Governor?
Chair, in addition, apart from irregular, there is also unreconciled salary arrears, payments inaccuracies, and also this issue of insurance. Because the CC Finance had mentioned something about insurance. So
Okay.
I think it's around 10 issues.
So insurance could be more of procurement. But do you have the HR director in the delegation? As we said earlier, we are holding professionals to account. HR is a regulated profession. The HR director of a county must be a member of a professional body. And if you've got 10 paragraphs on HR weaknesses, it tells you that there is some professional failure somewhere. Governor?
Unfortunately, our HR director has been unwell and ailing over a long period of time. But I have the chief officer in charge of governance and several people in the department, the payroll manager, and many other people in the department. And the county public service board is here also.
Yeah, we wanted to establish professional responsibility, the same way we did with the accountants. First of all, we deal with the professionals and ask them where they are failing in ensuring that the human resource, which really is the biggest resource you have in the county, why it would be mismanaged to have all these issues. But of the issues that you cited, Auditor General, are there anywhere you have found an explanation that is satisfactory on the HR issues, so that we deal with the ones that are still outstanding? So starting with non-adherence to approved staff establishment?
Not yet, Chair.
That is still outstanding?
Yes.
Who has responsibility for coming up with the staff establishment? Is it the County Public Service Board? Is it the executive? I thought the answer is in your finding there.
Correct.
Where the board has been referred to on the approval of the staff establishment. Because you are saying that there have been creation and redesignation of positions without the authorization of the board. Isn't that the thrust of this audit finding? Non-adherence to approved staff establishment.
Yes, Chair. Issue number 14 on lawfulness.
So do we have an approved staff? Do we have an approved staff establishment that the board has signed off? I think someone introduced themselves as the chair of the County Public Service Board. Sergeant at Arms, please provide the mic.
Thank you, Chair. Sorry, Chair. On the enlisted issues on HR, the Public Service Board will respond to non-adherence, lack of human resource policies, and the last one is unsupported recruitment of employees, Chair.
Okay, let's start with non-adherence to approved staff establishment.
Yeah,
do you have an approved staff establishment?
I have my technical officer here. He'll answer the 3 questions.
Okay. Please just reintroduce yourself for the record. Not everyone might know you.
Okay. Engineer Collins Juma, Chair of the Board.
Okay. The other officer to introduce themselves.
Oh, my name is Wilfred Nyagudi.
Okay. Can you, we have the written responses here, but we must be in the house at 2:30. So we just want to get a general overview. Unless, Governor, you prefer we go through the written responses. We just want to get a feel whether this matter has been addressed. If it's not addressed, then we ask the Auditor General to look at it in the substantive audit. So the first question was, your staff establishment, is it approved, and when was it approved?
Thank you, Chair. We do have an approved and authorized staff establishment, which was approved by the County Assembly, and it is under Annex 24. And
so if you have an approved staff establishment,
yes,
is it a fact that there are 273 excess staff?
Chair, it is
job group in job group A, and 14 excess staff in job group B, as flagged by the Auditor General?
Chair, thank you very much. The truth of the matter is that, as already been discussed here, in our establishment we have officers who are from the defunct local authority, who were previously on scales but not job groups. So these officers were largely in job group A and B, and they were inherited by the county government from the defunct local authority. These officers in our payroll, they do not appear with the designations that we currently use in the public service. So in the year 2013, an annex is also provided under Annex 24. The county government public service board attempted to rationalize their designations and job groups so that they could match the designations and job groups, and even that appears on our database. So in so doing, a report was done, but we later realized that this particular group of staff are protected by their CBAs, which did not allow variation of their pay or designation to their disadvantage. So most of them were given job groups and titles that were personal to themselves, and they've been transiting services with these protected packages. So these 276 and the 15 in job group A and 15 in job group B are people who came from the defunct local authority, and the issues have been historical. To add on to that,
now, you see your written response is a full page and a half.
Yes.
So I thought that your oral response would be shorter. You sound like you are going through what we are trying to avoid.
That's the summary.
What your officer is describing is that there is a problem that you are trying to solve. Have you solved it, or it's a matter that the Auditor General can keep in view? Because if it is solved, then you tell us this is the solution. If there are challenges in solving it, then you tell us so that the Auditor General does not mark this as resolved. The Auditor General can deal with it in the substantive audit. So, is it solved, or is it work in progress?
It is work in progress.
So, do you want us to discuss how many steps you have taken and how many steps are outstanding, or we can ask the Auditor General to deal with that? I think it would be neater for us to ask the Auditor General to review this alongside the payroll audit that the Auditor General had conducted, I think 1 or 2 years back. OAG?
Thank you, Chair. We are well advised. We are going to keep it in view in the current year.
Are these the same issues that emerged in the payroll audit? Because I know you did a payroll audit 2 years ago on most of the county governments.
Yes, Chair. It was part of that.
Okay, Senator Chirarke?
So I didn't get maybe the county public service board. So where are these excess 273 individuals and 14 staff? Because, Chair, if you notice, This non-adherence of staff establishment, could it be linked to human resource plans and employees with personal numbers? So what is the fate of these two? If it was excess, does it mean it did not fit to the human resource establishment? And Chair, we have no situation where there is existence of ghost workers who sometimes are transformed into goons. So is there, where are these 273, and was there a head count or an audit to that effect through the Chair County Public Service Board? So where are these people?
Yeah, this is a problem of long explanations.
Yes.
It gives birth to ghosts and goons. Now you have to deal with goons.
And sanguinas in some cases.
So can you give Senator Cherargei a short, crisp, direct answer?
Thank you, Chair. These officers are in the county government and they are serving.
So where are they? You are the ones, when the OAG came, they found they were 273. Do they have personal numbers? Are they paid? Which departments do they work? Can you provide segregation?
There is Annex 24, which has the names of all those officers and what they do in the county government.
Oh, so it is not Annex 24. Let me assist you. It is Annex 23. 24 is something else.
What's the accurate annexure?
This talks about de facto and local authority staff sustainability. What I can see, Chair, is on Annex 23. Is it Annex 23?
Officer, what is the correct annex?
Or is it 24? This one on defunctant.
Defunct local authority.
So these were members, sorry, that is 24. So the 273 are here.
Yes.
And you have indicated, what is this report about? Sorry, Chair, for taking long, because you have said did not attend due to various reasons, has been observed by County Assembly. Others you have said is on 3-year study leave. Others is did not attend. Why did they not attend? So does it mean they exist? Because if you are saying, Chair, if you look at this report that has been provided, employees who did not attend suitability interviews. So these who did not attend suitability interviews, what is their fate? One, you have said a number have been observed by County Assembly. Others are on study leave. Others did not attend this suitability interview. I think there are, Chair, there are a number of them. I think, how many are they? It has not been numbered. Even clerks, market attendant. So what is the fate of those who did not attend the interviews?
Chair, that report is about stuff that the county government inherited from the defunct local authority. That is why you are seeing the designations are not matching the current designations we have in public service. So in an effort to rationalize their terms and conditions of service, the board undertook a suitability interview, taking into consideration their qualifications and where they could be placed. So that is the report.
Sorry, Chair, you know you should do it with military precision. I just need a very specific answer. So they did not attend, they were fired.
No, they were not fired.
Where are they?
They are working in the county government.
But they didn't attend suitability interviews.
Because they're already serving in the service.
Why were you demanding that they attend the suitability interview?
For them, for the board to rationalize their engagement.
How did you rationalize without having them to appear before you?
Yeah, maybe, Chair, they need to tell us if it was optional and if there was a penalty if you don't attend.
Yes.
Number two, because for this query to go, you must give us an indication on when you will resolve this. Yeah, a timeline. Is it how many months, how many years? I think it should be months. When are you going to make sure that there is adherence to an already existing staff establishment?
in addition to the Vice Chair comment, in fact, in your report, you have said of total 355 employees of defunct and local authorities were invited for suitability interviews, only 308 appeared for suitability interviews. Was it optional? And where is that memo to show that it was optional?
Chair, as I've already explained, you cannot alter the terms and conditions of an officer without their consent. Now, in so doing, the board sought to rationalize the terms and conditions of service of these people. And I said because of some legal bottlenecks, the implementation of that report did not take place. It was an effort we were taking to ensure that their qualifications and designations matches the designations in the public service.
Now, members, when you look at the time, we will not make a lot of progress, because the other alternative would be for the governor to read his written responses in full, so that all those questions are addressed. But time will not allow us. We've got about 6 paragraphs that touch on policy, and practice. Can we go back to 1 or 2 issues that touch on numbers, where, for example, the insurance question that you are asking, so that the HR issues, which are more of policy and which are still work in progress, we ask the Auditor General to keep them in view, so that we can use the remaining minutes to deal with issues where the Auditor General has talked of irregularities involving financial matters. The policy issues can be kept in view.
Maybe, Chair, in the interest of time, maybe we can find out if SIAYA was among the counties we are giving view in terms of human resource, because I can see it forms basis of almost 60% of the audit queries. Maybe because I can see Chair will not be doing justice, because the County Public Service Board of SIAYA are scattered around the issue. Because we really want to know where these 273 are. Because if the County Public Service Board would give us a precise answer, we would just leave it there. But you can see has gone ahead under Annex 24 to even talk of something you are not aware of, legal bottlenecks, which is not the explanation that was given to justify the excess of 273 employees.
Senator Muruma?
There's this one also, Chair, paragraph 16 on page 11, where we have some employees without personal numbers.
Is it related?
Yeah, what is the reason for employees not having personal numbers? Okay, whether they come from the defunct authorities or they're newly employed. We need to get maybe just 1 or 2 sentences answer.
Yes.
As we keep it in view.
Yes.
Okay.
If you can say that, we leave it there.
This one of employees without UPN, 449 employees.
Can I ask the Country Secretary?
Yes, please. Be very precise.
Thank you, Chair. In around February, SIAYA was running 2 payrolls, which was the one on high risk for employees with UPN and for manual employees who did not have UPN. From then on, the Cabinet took a position that we only work on a payroll with all employees, and so we embarked on a system to ensure all our employees now have UPN. Since, as per Friday last week, we have had all our employees being processed for UPN, a total of 1,332 who did not have a UPN number. We have got about 90% of them who now have numbers, and we are now integrating them into payroll. We have also additionally engaged also our casuals, who are a special category, who are also going to get payroll numbers as allowed by the high-risk system. So in short, all our employees now are working, and we're working quite closely with the Ministry of Public Service to ensure that we are aligned to the Treasury and the public service.
Auditor General, can you confirm that in your verification that is the case? You had cited 449 without UPN.
Thank you, Chair. From where we stand, we are still having a variance, and from the response, it would require us to go and verify the same from the HRIS. So we still have a variance on those employees who are here to get UPN numbers.
Okay, to avoid splitting hairs, I think the problem, might be able to place our finger on the problem if we look at paragraph 17 on unsupported recruitment of employees. Just read your finding on that, unsupported recruitment of employees.
Thank you, Chair. Paragraph number 17, unsupported recruitment of employees. Review of human resource records and correspondences maintained by the SIAYA County Public Service Board revealed that 608 employees were appointed between 7 January and 10 February 2025. However, the audit was not able to confirm the authenticity of the recruitment process, since supporting documents such as advertisement, shortlisting records, interview minutes, and appointment letters were not availed for audit review. Management explained that the records of the County Public Service Board were submitted to the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission as per the copy of inventory dated 24th September 2025. In the absence of these records, the legitimacy of the recruitment process and the authenticity of the employees could not be confirmed.
Governor, do you think it's necessary to go through the 1.5 page of response, or you could highlight the key facts? Because, as I said, we are placing our finger on the problem. EACC is doing an investigation on unsupported recruitment of employees. And if this is a matter under active investigation, it tells you maybe it's a reason why you have all these other many problems on HR, all these many other paragraphs. So, Governor, maybe just take us through your response, maybe highlighting the key points. Then we'll ask EACC how far they've gone with that investigation.
The county government of SIAYA acknowledges the Auditor General's observation concerning the 608 employees whose recruitment records could not be immediately availed during the audit. The county is committed to transparency, accountability, and the full cooperation with all oversight institutions, including the Auditor General and EACC. The 608 officers in question were recruited by the SIAYA County Public Service Board on various dates between the financial year 2023-2024 in accordance with this statutory mandate under the County Governments Act. The recruitment process followed the applicable procedures at the time, including advertisement, shortlisting interviews, and issuance of appointment letters. The apparent discrepancy in dates, that is January to February 2025, arose because of the integration of these officers into the county payroll, and that coincided with the national government-sanctioned migration from the legacy payroll system to the new human resource information system. During this system migration, the platform automatically generated new entry timestamps reflecting the date of data capture and onboarding into the new system. That is January 2025, rather than the original dates of recruitment and appointment in financial year 2023-2024. In the course of fulfilling its constitutional and statutory mandate, the ACC visited the offices of the SIAYA County Public Service Board to investigate complaints that had been presented to it. During this visit, the ACC officers collected certain original documents relating to recruitment in question to aid their ongoing investigations. As a result, the specific records requested by the audit team were not physically available at the County Public Service Board at the time of the audit. The County Public Service Board provided the audit team with a formal inventory of documents taken by the ECC dated 24th September 2025 as evidence of handover. The county government and the County Public Service Board have fully cooperated with the ACC investigation and continue to do so. The county remains ready to facilitate access to any records still in its possession or to support the retrieval of records from the ACC where legally permissible to enable the audit process to be concluded satisfactorily. The recruitment of 608 officers was undertaken by the County Public Service Board, which is legally mandated body responsible for the appointment in the County Public Service under Section 59 of the County Government Act. The board followed the prescribed procedures for recruitment, including public advertisement vacancies, shortlisting of candidates, conduct of interviews, and issuance of appointment letters to successful candidates. In the absence of certain original records during the audit, was duly due to their lawful handover to the ECC for investigations. The files are currently with the ECC, and the Annexure 27 is an inventory of documents taken by the ECC dated 24 September 2025. And I just want to say in summary, if this matter is kept in view and fully scrutinized, I think it can be resolved. By the way it looks at the moment with documents not being fully in the hands of the county, it would not be easy for us to establish the audit query. But I can assure the committee that we are on the right side of the law insofar as these recruitments are concerned.
So, EACC, you are investigating something related to this matter of unsupported recruitment. What is the update?
Yes, thank you, Chair. I've confirmed with our Central Nyanza Regional Office, which covers Kisumu, Siaya, and Vihiga counties, and this matter is still under investigation. It is at an advanced stage.
Because these documents were handed over on the 24th of September, 2025. So it's almost 1 year down the line. The question is, I know we didn't put it in law, but if it's establishing whether employees were properly recruited, do you need a year to do the investigations? I mean, let's just be honest. Some of these things, it causes uncertainty and a lot of anxiety when EACC is holding records, and it means that it gives them a blank check to come any other time to raid and to ask for additional documents. How do we address this thing of an elastic investigation?
Yeah, thank you, Chair.
Before maybe Christine answers.
Okay.
Isn't it possible for EACC to photocopy the documents and certify them and return the other documents so that the other government agencies really can use them, like for auditing? Because September 25th is about the time that auditing is going on.
Maybe before EACC, you know, Chair, this is under investigation. I think whether regularly or irregularly the 608 employees were employed is until after investigations have been done. So I can imagine if the EACC finds later that it was not regularly done, you might have to follow up this 608 to refund the money. So I think it is a dicey situation. But my only concern with EACC, which I agree with the Chair, is why is it taking long to conclude on this matter? And is it, you know, when Kenyans and more people from SIAYA, especially the 608 employees, would really want to know? Because if you just say active investigation, is it at case analysis? Has the file been forwarded to ODP? We are not saying you disclose the ingredients of the case, but what stage? Is it case analysis? Is it forwarded to ODPP? So that you don't also, maybe, my thinking, some of these 608 employees could be critical, essential staff. So the fact that they remain uncertain, it means it will affect the service delivery to the people of SIAYA.
Yes, you see?
Thank you, Chair. I'll start by answering the question by Senator Maruma about the certification of documents. The advice that we normally give to entities before they hand over documents to EACC, they're supposed to do copies and retain their copy so that we don't stop statutory processes like the audit process. On the question of how long it takes, when I say a matter is under active investigation, I mean that maybe interviews have been recorded, not to disclose much, not at analysis. The investigation is already ongoing, and we are trying our best to fast track the process so that we finalize this investigation and forward the matter to DPP. Thank you.
Remember, we made a resolution to invite the EACC before this committee, and we resolved that it will not be a 1-hour presentation of a paper. We will sit with the EACC for a full day, and we'll go county by county to get an update on matters that the Senate has referred to them. Because the language of active investigation is an indefinite thing that can also be weaponized, that investigations can close at a point when the persons involved are not politically correct. So we need to deal with that. If you look at, for example, the 24th item that was collected by the EACC on page 247. It is a SIAYA County Public Service Board official seal. So does it mean that the County Service Board has not had an official seal since 24th of September 2025? Can you give him the microphone?
The seal has not been returned, so we don't have a seal.
How does that affect your functions?
Of course, we've not been undertaking functions that requires a seal.
What are those functions that require a seal?
There are certain reports that sometimes we are required to send to the assembly, and issues of, mainly that one, and even the minutes of the Public Service Board. So we just have the minutes, but they're not sealed.
Senator Muruma?
Yeah, Chair, I'm just following up on the response by Christine that they advise the entities to photocopy the documents before they cut them away. Auditors, are you able to use photocopy documents from the entities? I don't think so.
Certified?
No, not certified. They photocopy and decertify. I think it is easier, you photocopy, or it's neater, EACC photocopies and certifies, then leaves the original documents for the other entities. Yeah, not the other way around. That you entities, now SIAYA, photocopy and remain the documents, then they go with the originals. I thought it is neater that you photocopy as EACC, you certify, cut away what you have certified, then leave the original documents with the entity.
How would they do with the seal? How will they photocopy the seal?
The seal.
You know, it's a problem. It's without getting into the substance of the investigations, there is a problem here. If you've confiscated the seal from September last year, then even if you direct the board to take certain actions that require the seal, they'll not be able to undertake it. How do we strike that balance between investigations and also enabling the institutions to function? Governor? Oh, sorry, Senator Charati.
I have a big problem with the ECC. If I could enumerate the many documents they've taken away, not in relation even to this matter, going many years, I think you'll be amazed. I think it's a matter of as a matter of public duty, ECC should be doing speedy but accurate investigations. Because like this matter, so long as it's in the public domain that 605 employees were recruited or employed illegally without an answer from the ECC or prosecution by the NCC or a clean slate from the ECC, it is a public issue, which, as you said, can be weaponized. So I plead with the ECC, and they know the records they have taken from SIAYA, And it becomes very difficult to undertake some duties and responsibilities when you don't have original documents. And probably what Honorable Maro is saying, certify copies of documents in certain circumstances can even be admitted in court. But to take the entire record from a county, vital records, without accountability. I think in the public service law, protection and retention of documents of those who are responsible is provided in law. But once it goes to ECC, they can disappear, and you have no recourse. So 1 year, I agree, is a long, long, long time. And it doesn't take, handed investigators to establish. There's 605 people. You can, in 4 or 5 days, be able to determine whether there was an advertisement for these jobs, whether there were interviews conducted, whether there were shortlisting, and whether there were appointments. I think it's a straightforward investigation.
In any case, Parliament is given 90 days to consider the reports of the Auditor General and to make recommendations. If Parliament can be given timelines, then I believe all institutions also need to be given timelines. Otherwise, we are going to affect operations in counties.
Maybe, Governor, out of 6 or 8 employees that are in question, how many are on contract? Because I can see in your advert they are supposed to have been given 3-year contract and 1 year has lapsed. So how many out of 6 or 8 that has been queried by the OAG were supposed to be under contract of 3 years?
It is difficult to answer that question without those records. It's not an answer I can give off the cuff. I need to look at those records.
Now, members, let's do a quick, so these HR issues, it then could indicate that as long as these investigations are ongoing and as long as the auditors don't have visibility of certain records, it will always remain an open audit issue. So please keep in view all this, and if you still don't have the records, if ESCC or the entity cannot agree on certification of copies, please raise it again in the next audit cycle. Now, so in HR, which is a regulated profession, we can see that there are issues. In legal, which is another regulated profession, the Auditor General tells us that there are weaknesses in the legal department, where 25 million was paid as legal fees to various firms, but the Auditor General says the county executive did not have a substantive county attorney during the year under review. Governor, has that been fixed?
Fixed. The county attorney is here.
County attorney, please go on record. You are the evidence to resolve this matter. Can the county attorney be tabled?
Chair, I confirm that I am the county attorney. My name is Velma Maumo.
When were you appointed?
I was appointed on 13th of May, 2026.
13th of May, 2026. That was not too far away. So, Auditor General, you'll confirm that it is a substantive appointment, compliant with, I hope those are not the records that the ESCC has. County Public Service Board, how did you recruit a county attorney when your seal is with the ESCC? Because this is a position that needs approval of the County Assembly.
We appoint a panel. That panel must be approved by the Assembly.
Yes, I just want to find out whether these require the seal.
The appointment of the county attorney is not done by the County Public Service Board.
So it does not require the seal of the Public Service Board?
It doesn't.
Okay. There were also weaknesses in the internal audit function, where the Auditor General says that the number of employees were far below what is required in the staff establishment, and that the staff in there were not members of professional bodies. Governor, what is the status on that?
I think the internal auditor is here. Can I lay her table her?
You can table the internal auditor.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. It's true, we have a lean
Maybe
staff.
be upstanding so that we're able to see you.
Sorry. Yeah, thank you. It's true we have a lean staff. Sorry, my name is Jennifer Ogola, the Director Internal Audit, as well as Secretary to the Audit Committee. We have a few staff, as indicated by the external audit. But we've already done a request. We've shared the same with the governor, and the governor has directed the county secretary.
Let me just stop you for the sake of time and go to the specific matter in the audit finding. Information from management indicated that the officers carrying out duties of the internal audit were employed as ward administrators and deployed to the unit, casting doubt on the effectiveness of the unit. Were you employed as a ward administrator?
No, sir. I was employed as the Director Internal Audit.
So were there secondments of ward administrators to the internal audit function?
Yes, there was, but there has been resignation of the same.
So you no longer have ward administrators as internal auditors?
No, we don't.
With effect from?
I'm not so sure of the date, but he has been resignated.
It was one person, or it was several people?
Yeah, it was one person.
Did that ward administrator have any financial background or skills?
Yeah, he has a part 1 of CPA and is an undergraduate in commerce.
So Auditor General, keep this in view because this is a matter of extreme concern. Internal audit is an extremely important function that you just cannot get a ward administrator hired on completely different competencies coming into internal audit. I think someone introduced themselves as the chair of the audit committee because you're the ones who provide some oversight to the internal audit function. Have you approved the charter for internal audit?
Yes, Chair. I'm FCPA Bernard Sierro, Chairman of the Audit Committee. I confirm the audit committee is now in place and we oversight the internal audit function.
How many of your internal auditors are members of ISPAC or the Institute of Internal Auditors?
So far, we are two members who are.
No, leave alone the board. Leave alone the board. There's a gazette notice on how it's to be constituted. I'm talking about the technical team, the internal auditors. Is there any of them who's a member of ISPAC or a member of the Institute of Internal Auditors?
Yeah. Like the director, the director is a qualified accountant and also a member of the internal audit.
How many of them have that professional qualification? Because that's a query here.
How many are accountants?
How many are accountants?
In terms of the accountants, I may not have the exact numbers. I think the secretary will be able to communicate on that. But what I know, there's a shortage. They still don't have enough numbers, maybe as will be required for them to fully execute the internal audit function.
FCPA, maybe we can learn from you. How do you interface with this report that we are considering as an audit committee of the county executive?
Thank you, Chair. Actually, the requirement is, if you look at the PFM Act, the expectation is before the financial report is even submitted to the external auditors, it should pass through the internal audit, then the audit committee is able to look at it. But that has not been happening. I think there's been a weakness on that.
What is should? It should, isn't it? You said it should pass through.
Yes.
So the question is, does it?
Not yet, not at the moment, but we are trying to push for that to be happening.
Okay.
Because I think that's the best practice. It should pass through the internal audit, then internal audit reports to us, because we offer the oversight. You know, we are independent of the county as audit committee members, so that we are able to give some kind of independent opinion or input before it goes now to the external auditor, who is the OAG. But that has been lacking, and I think that's one area we've already discussed, and maybe going forward it should be implemented.
We might draw on your experience also to look at the law, because under the PFM Act, there's a county PFM technical working group. Auditor?
Yeah.
At the county level, there's a technical working group under the PFM Act that is led by the CC Finance. How does it interface with the audit committee? Because you can have all these institutions, but if there are no synergies, then an FCPA will come and tell us what should happen rather than what is happening.
I agree with you, Chair. I know there's a lot of work in progress, but we are hopeful that with time, we should move towards what is expected. In this regard, we even had an opportunity to have a meeting with the governor himself, and we've explained this, and we want to believe that moving forward, some of these things should be implemented, especially maybe the period under review.
Senator Moro?
Chair, I also want to understand the query. You know, the auditor is querying that the people who are deployed to work as in the internal audit were ward administrators. Did you find out the qualifications for the ward administrators? Because you can have ward admins who are accountants. So is the problem deploying ward admins to the internal audit or the qualifications? Did you check the qualifications? Because one can be a ward admin, but an accountant.
Yeah, I think that has been explained by the secretary, who is also the director of the internal audit department. And I believe, of course, for us as a committee, we don't have opportunity to interact with all the staff per se, because we operate largely through the committee meetings. We also have our committee meetings where the top auditors from the department come and present to us. So I mean, we may not have the exact view of what
we need to have is to get the qualifications for the 12 officers working in the internal audit department, because there is that part of qualification and the part of bridging the gap according to the staff establishment.
Correct. Auditor General, this is a matter that should be kept in
this
view.
document, I'm sorry, volume 4, there's an exhibit showing the entire establishment for the
of the internal audit.
Yeah, with the qualifications.
Yeah. So I think also going forward to have a view that can help the other counties. I don't know whether you've got an association of audit committees of the 47 counties, or how you come together. We'd like to get your feedback on effectiveness of audit committees across the 47 counties so that we can tighten legislation. I know there's a problem around remuneration. That's why some counties are struggling to get the right people to sit in those audit committees. But then there's also this other thing of, you are saying what should happen in practice. But if it's not specified in law, then the CEC will just submit the financial statements to the Auditor General without sending it through you. So maybe it can be a conversation at another level where you can lobby the Senate or the County Assembly on the relevant legislative amendments.
I agree with you, Chair. In fact, as a matter of fact, there's an ongoing review of some of these requirements over the PFM Act regarding the internal audit functions, both for the national and the county government, because this is a weakness that has been noted across the board, both at the county level and also at the national level.
Okay, Governor, if your internal audit function is working well, these issues of verification of pending bills, issues of HR and verification of your staff, internal audit is able to do some of these things, flag them early so they don't arise when you come to the Senate. Let me, you may have a seat, FCPA. Again, two other issues that are in this report relate to the climate change regulations and climate change funding. The Auditor General indicates that during the period of the audit, SIAYA County did not have climate change, did not have regulations under the Climate Change Act. Now, I say this aware that as we speak, the 47 counties are meeting at Hotel Kempinski to address the implementation of FLOCA. And I believe that there must be a representative from SIAYA County in that meeting. How can we not have regulations? Because it is those regulations that underpin the fund. How can you have a fund without regulations? Can we just deal with those two issues? They are two separate issues, lack of funding and lack of regulations.
Well, we don't have regulations as noted in the audit query, but we are at an advanced stage of preparing these regulations. And maybe the next, if you are given a timeline, we can be able to come before you next time with those regulations in place.
What is the challenge on the regulations? Because the rest of the counties have come up with regulations. I know that under FLOCA there was some funding for capacity for counties to come up with the relevant legislation and regulations. Why is SIAYA an outlier?
I think in terms of application and implementation of the FLOCA program, from the funder, we are doing quite well. In fact, you know, SIAYA has been getting additional funding, including this current financial year. We got an additional funding of over 100 million. That is because we have observed strictly their requirements. But I agree with you entirely that we should move with speed to have these regulations in place. I have no excuse at all. They should be in place.
Governor, I think you will need to educate us. Which comes first? Is it the fund or the regulations? I know we've had this conversation for a long time in Parliament, that if a fund is to be established, it is the regulations that operationalize the fund. How then are you running the fund if the regulations do not exist? And it is a problem with the National Climate Change Fund. In 2016, when we did the Climate Change Act, when you were in the Senate, we said that there was going to be a National Climate Change Fund. To date, it has not been established because regulations have never been brought to Parliament. How can SIAYA have a fund that is operational without regulations?
Well, that will fall under the general spirit of the law. The Public Finance Management Act, and even derived from the Constitution, funds where there's no an existing fund like the climate fund, it would generally go to the CRF because that is what is established under the Constitution. But now we have a requirement by the funder that we must create a special purpose account in order to be able to, implement the project. So we have a fund or a special account, but that is on account of the funder, not on account of operations of the laws of Kenya.
Obviously, even a fisherman like me knows that the spirit only comes in when the letter is unclear. The letter is that a fund is operationalized by regulations. And a fund and SPA are different. The SPA is just an account, a bank account. Or maybe we are asking the wrong question. Auditor General, was there a fund? Was there a fund?
Actually, there's no fund. There's no fund.
Yes, Chair, they do have a fund and we actually audit it.
So there's a fund without regulations?
Yes. SIAYA County Climate Change Fund.
Senator Mwaruma.
Yeah, Chair, because the act is already there. The SIAYA County Climate Change Act of 2021. Now we need to pin the scene on the sinner, because since 2021, the CEC member in charge of climate change was bequeathed to the responsibility of making the regulations, but he or she has not done that. You know, there's a breach of the law. So to mitigate it, I don't know how we need to give some sanctions to that person who dropped the ball, the CC in charge of climate change, so that we can mitigate on the breach of the law.
Yeah, so that was a regulation-making entity. It was a CC in charge of climate change. But again, control of budget. How do you have a fund established without regulations?
Okay, to make a note on that, I don't think whether the controller will approve any money, like the funds, without an act. So I think there is an issue.
The act is there,
yeah,
but the regulations establishing the fund have not been done.
She can't be able to authorize the money when the regulations are not there.
So Auditor General,
there is an issue on that.
Can you confirm whether it is a SPA that they are calling a fund, or it is a real fund? Because a fund cannot exist without regulations. And if SIAYA is doing that, then they are grossly in violation of the law. And as Senator Maruma says, we need to pin that on the offender. And we must also talk to the National Treasury, the Climate Change Directorate, and ask them why they are making disbursements to a county without a fund. Even though one of the issues here is that the disbursements from FLOCA did not come to the county. Most likely it's because of non-provision of the regulations. Please keep this in view, Auditor General. You can do some depth and control of budget. Please find out whether it is true that a fund exists without regulations. There were a few other things we could have addressed, but we have only 1 minute to our stoppage time. The issues that we have not dealt with can be kept in view. County Assembly would be happy if you could share with us your adoption, the minutes or the Hansard for adoption, because I believe that when you tabled your report, there was some debate on the report, so that we can take into consideration your report, the debate by the members. It can influence or it can help us to come up with our own report on this particular matter. Mheshimiwa Kenyanyi, that's something you can, I think just providing the Hansard is something you can do almost immediately.
Yes, it can be done. Okay. But not today.
Yeah,
I'll make sure that it reaches the office.
Yeah, please. Maybe in 7 working days, your clerk can undertake to provide us with that evidence. While the meeting was progressing, I have a copy of a letter dated 28th of July 2026, addressed to the clerk of the Senate with the subject notification of the legal status of George Nyingiro in respect of county financial matters. The letter has been brought to my attention. I've been informed that it was received at the clerk's office yesterday, and it is being processed, and it will be directed to the relevant committee. Once the relevant committee is seized of the matter, I believe the governor would probably get an opportunity to respond to the allegations that are in that letter. We were not able to go into the receiver of revenue statement. Perhaps, again, we'll ask the Auditor General to keep the issues raised in the receiver of revenue statement in view and report on them in the next audit cycle. I would wish that at this point we bring the meeting to a close, and I will ask the chair of the Public Accounts Committee, SIAYA County Assembly, do you have any observation now that you had already considered these reports?
Thank you, Chair. There are a few things that we talked about the advice on the ISPAC. SIAYA has got no shortage of ISPAC. It's only that the posting, they are there but they've never been posted. I think that one the governor can make a follow-up on that. These are recommendations that we had also the same with the auditor and many other things that have been discussed. If you can check on our recommendations, they are almost similar things. We need a better SIAYA and not with a lot of complaints the way they are with the auditors. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Governor, your closing remarks.
I want to thank the committee. It is always a pleasure to appear as an entity that does oversight of counties, and I think we are better placed in running our counties when these issues are discussed in this committee, recommendations given or directions given by the committee. So we'll continue to work together with the Auditor General. I liked the Chair's observations about the internal audit, that many of the issues that come to the fore could actually be dealt with internally if that office is used effectively. So I look forward to the next appearance before the committee.
Thank you, Governors. Vice Chair, unless you have any comment, you are not one of those who are saying final meeting. We shall not make reference to whatever is on the order paper. We will be asking ISPAC to review the suitability of their members, particularly those in SIAYA who prepare financial statements. We will also be asking EACC to provide us with an account on the matters that have been referred to them over the years with regards to SIAYA, and we'll expect the CEO of the EACC to appear before this committee. We must address some issues without interfering with investigations, but we must also ensure that investigations do not cripple the operations of counties. We'll ask the Auditor General to keep a number of the matters here in view and report on them substantively in the financial year 2025-2026. We look forward to a day when SIAYA will have an unqualified opinion, and it is very possible. It's very possible. If the accountants do the right thing and accrual basis of reporting, it's possible. So that when you come to the Senate, we are dealing with issues of lawfulness, issues of effectiveness, issues of controls, issues of governance. I've seen some issues in this report, variation of tender by 256,000. You know, those are not things that should be coming to the Senate. Those are not things that the auditor should be asking questions and not getting answers on. So we hope, going forward, the quality of the reports will improve, and therefore the quality of the conversation at the Senate will also improve. But if we are still looking at small things around variation of contracts, numbers not adding up, then we'll still be stuck in additions and subtractions. I look forward to further engagement with the SIAYA County Executive and SIAYA County Government as a whole. Governor, you left us in the Senate to go and make a difference in SIAYA. We wish you well in that pursuit in SIAYA County.
Can I just say that when I assumed the office of governor, a lot of our reports were adverse. We have moved generally to unqualified reports, but we have also had some unqualified reports. So there's progress.
Yeah, so allow us to whip your officers and let them not take it personally, because when we whip them, that's when they realize that they can't hide behind the governor. Over the years, officers have been hiding behind the governors, saying that the governor will take the fire. We shall direct fire to people with professional responsibility. The meeting is adjourned, and then our next meeting will be by notice.